As someone who is 26 years old, if I lost everything today, like every dollar I've ever had, no money to my name, most people think it'd be very hard for me to make it back. That's not true. In this video, I would show you exactly how I would make $10,000 in the next 30 days, and I'm gonna show you exactly how I would do it if I had no money to spend, no money on ads, no money on systems or softwares. All I had was a cell phone and car. So what would I do week 1? So first off, I'd make a 30-day plan. I would map out my weeks. Week 1, what I would do, week 2, 3, and 4, exactly what I would do to achieve the goal of making at least $10,000 wholesaling real estate. First up, I would rebuild my entire pipeline. So right now I wholesale and flip real estate for a living. So I do full-time as my career, but if I lost all my leads, I had no systems, I had nothing, I'd first go rebuild my pipeline. I would get in front of people as quick as I possibly could. How would I do that? I would start off by calling them, texting them, emailing them, doing anything I can to get them to know who I am and to ask them if they're gonna sell their property. Now you're gonna ask, well, how are we gonna get in front of these people? Well, I would drive for dollars and I would find every single crappy house in my entire area, my entire county, whatever it is. You could find at least 5 of these houses on every single street you drive down, right? Meaning that the house has overgrown grass. The house hasn't been painted in a long time. The house has old vehicles in the driveway. Whatever it might be to signify that the house might be outdated or crappy inside is what you're gonna want to target, right? So what I would do is I would drive down every single street I possibly could. I would spend a whole entire day doing it, 8 to 10 hours that entire day. I would have a list well over 500 to 1,000 minimum, right? Every single house that you could possibly find that looks crappy, I would write it down, and then I would call it. How would I call it? Well, I would find their contact information using TruePeopleSearch.com. All I would do is I would type in their address into TruePeopleSearch, and it will give me their name and their contact information, and then I would write it down next to the address, and I would spend an entire day doing that. After that, I would have a list of probably close to 1,000 addresses and people with their contact information that I can call and text to see if they want to possibly sell me their property. I didn't just pull this list. I drove past these houses and I could see visibly that they look like crap. Someone's gonna want to sell on that list. I almost guarantee it, unless you live in a beautiful area and there's no crappy houses. So after I find all their information, I have everything ready, I would start calling these people, texting 100 to 200 people every single day. Meaning I am calling them, I'm triple dialing them, I'm calling them 3 times back to back to back. So many people will call once, let it go to voicemail, not leave a voicemail, and move on to the next, right? You're not gonna do that. You're gonna triple dial them. 1, don't leave a voicemail, hang up. 2, don't leave a voicemail, hang up. 3, if they don't pick up, leave a voicemail, then send a text, right? People who are not in sales are like, that's harassment. It's not. There are salespeople who call their prospects 3 times in the morning, 3 times in the afternoon, and 3 times in the evening. If that's not you, you're not gonna close any of these deals, right? If you do that, if you call 100, 200 people every single day, I guarantee you will find somebody who expresses some interest in selling that property. So what would I do after that? Well, by then I would take all the people who are interested in selling the property and I move on. It'll probably take about a week to do this. And I would set appointments for week 2, which we'll dive into right now. All right, week 2. Now that we have some leads that we got from calling people every single day, what can we do to now get in front of these people? Well, when you're calling them on week 1, you're gonna wanna set appointments for the following week, whether it's a phone call appointment or an in-person appointment. If you are brand new to wholesaling, I recommend using your local area, so whatever county. So you're gonna wanna set appointments with these people who you got in touch with, and maybe you're gonna have maybe 3 to 5 people out of this entire list who are maybe interested in hearing a cash offer for their property, right? You're gonna wanna start beating them. You're gonna go on appointments, and then you're gonna wanna make offers. What does this mean? You're going to go look at the house, take a bunch of photos of the house, and then put the photos into a drive, and then go back, run your numbers, and then set a follow-up call or appointment where you can go and then make them an offer and see if you can get them to sign a contract. After you do that, you're going to use free sites to get your docs in order. Because you're like, well, Nick, how do I get them to sign a contract? I don't have a contract. Great question. You can use ChatGPT, the free version of it. You could use anything to find a free wholesaling contract, meaning it's a standard contract for whatever state you're in. It just has a clause in there that lets you wholesale. So that being said, if you are afraid to do it yourself, or you are afraid to find something online to get yourself a free contract, join our free Skool community. There are contracts, assignment clauses, and everything you need inside of the community, and it's completely free on us. So check that out if you haven't already. After you do that and you have all your docs in order, you're gonna wanna find buyers. You're like, well, Nick, I don't know anybody. Who am I gonna sell these contracts to? Or who am I gonna assign these deals to? You're gonna use Facebook to join local investment groups. So if you're in Hillsbury County, Florida, I think that's what it's called, right? You wanna join Hillsbury Investors, Hillsbury Wholesalers, whatever county you're in, right? Like there's a million groups that you can join, right? You're gonna wanna join those county specific groups on Facebook that you can then say, hey guys, I am actively actively wholesaling in this area, drop your email below. I'd love to send you deals when I get them. I guarantee you, if someone sees that, they're going to drop their email or they're going to DM you. They're going to do something to give you their contact information because everyone's looking to buy deals. All of a sudden, you're going to post something, an hour later, you're going to have 50 to 100 emails of buyers that you can then send out a blast email to when you get a deal and say, hey, this is the deal I got. This is the price. This is what I want to make. Let's do a deal. I guarantee you one of those people is going to be interested in buying your deal and make you an offer on it. So week 3 comes around and you're negotiating and you're finalizing the terms of your first contract, right? So I'm negotiating and I'm finalizing the terms of a contract because I built my pipeline. I called a bunch of people. I set a bunch of appointments from all these people that I called. Say I set 10 appointments out of 1,000 people that I reached out to in that time frame, and say one of them finally said yes to me after I made an appointment, went to their house, got all my information, and they said yes. And now I'm under contract with this person, right? So I would negotiate the terms and I would sign docs, meaning I would get everything in writing, but I would get them under contract, and now I would then blast the deal out to the buyers list that I made off of Facebook on week 2 to the 100+ names that I have. I blast the deal out to them. I then coordinate walkthroughs with the seller for them to all take a look at the property. I do this in 1 to 2 days, meaning you have 1 day to look at for 1 or 2 days with the seller that they're comfortable with, for you to have contractors to walk the property, right? You want to say, hey, these are buyers that I'm going to then wholesale the house to. No, you want to say they're partners of mine, they're underwriters, they're contractors, they're going to give me quotes, they're going to check out the property, all this type of stuff, right? I would say have 5 to 10 people walk the property, and you should get about 1 to 2 bids from those people who walk it, unless you have a heater, then everyone's gonna bid. But if you just have a pretty good deal, I guarantee you, if you have 10 people walk the property, at least 1 of them or 2 of them will bid on the property. And after that, I will then move forward with the buyer that I think has the strongest chance to close on the property. Whether they're paying all cash, maybe they have good hard money, whatever it might be, I will move forward with the buyer that has the best chance of closing on that property. And after that, I'll move on to week 4. So moving on to week 4 is when you are going to get paid and assigned the contract, right? If you find a motivated seller and they're distressed, they're probably gonna want to close as soon as possible, right? So if you make someone a good enough offer and say the house is vacant, or say they have somewhere to go, you're probably gonna get this thing closed pretty quickly within 2 to 3 weeks, give or take, right? So I want to be very clear, though this is our 30-day plan to get paid, right? This plan is everything working out for me. So this is me getting a bunch of leads from scratch, calling people, getting them to agree to meet with me and saying yes to my price, getting 1 of them under contract, and then having them be so motivated that they sell and they want to close in a week or 2, right? So that's our perfect 30-day plan for us to get that $10,000 check. Realistically, stuff comes up. Sometimes you're gonna have buyers who can't close for 2 weeks. The seller needs time to move, whatever it might be. Either way, as long as you can have a contract assigned, you will be getting paid very, very quickly after you assign that contract, right? So I just want to make sure that's very, very clear and paint that framework for you. So when we're on week 4, what I would do to get paid is I would assign the contract, meaning I would assign them my rights to the contract. So say I'm under contract with this seller for $100,000 and I want to make the $10,000 that I just discussed. I would then assign my contract to that buyer for $10,000, right? So that means they would sign an assignment fee, and then they would at closing agree to pay me $10,000. I would open escrow, meaning I send it to an attorney or a title company for them to start opening the file, and that way they can pull title and get the closing coordinated. I would help coordinate the closing, meaning I would make sure my buyer's good to go, my seller's good to go, and everyone's happy and they're ready to move and close on the 10th of February, whenever we're closing. And then at the closing table, once all the docs are signed, the title company will then cut me a check and say, Nicholas Burris, here's $10,000. Thank you for your time and your service, because the buyer paid $110, the seller got $100, I got 10, and that's how I'd make $10,000 back in 30 days or less. Again, this is what happened in a perfect world of how I make $10,000 in 30 days. Realistically, like I said, it could take a little bit more time once you find the seller and get them under contract. They might need time to move out of the property. Your buyer might need time to close. So realistically, it could take 5-6 weeks to get it closed. But if we had a very motivated seller who wanted to move very quickly, I guarantee you we can get them closed in a week, 2 weeks tops, and then you would make your first $10,000. I hope you found this video helpful. This is exactly what I would do to make $10,000 in 30 days if I lost everything today. Obviously, I know I sped through the video. I went very, very quickly. I went very, very in depth. But I just wanted to give you an overview of exactly what I would do should I ever be put in that situation. If you want more information, or you want to really learn wholesaling and get into the nitty gritty of it, check out our free Skool community. We dropped a completely free wholesaling class that teaches you from start to finish exactly how to actually wholesale real estate. It doesn't just give you this very broad overview. I dive into actually how to close deals and how to make money doing it. So if you're interested in that, check out our free Skool community. If you liked the video, give it a like, subscribe to our channel. It helps us out a lot. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.